I leave the lights on. I wasn't going out in that weather. We didn't go out at all.
Sally Breach remembers seeing a yellow ride-to-care car drop off a woman in front of her home the afternoon of June 28th. Ride-to-care is a service that takes Medicaid patients to and from medical appointments.
Yeah, I saw it. And I thought, oh, I've got company, you know, oh my gosh, you know, I've got to put a hat on or something and throw something on and greet them at the door.
It was the hottest day ever recorded in Oregon, with temperatures that reached 116 degrees. She said the woman got out and kept walking down the street.
But she was young, and she seemed to know where she was going, but I thought, well, that's strange, you know, that stop in front of my house, you know, and I don't have a guest and stuff.
A couple hours later, Sally saw a small group of people crowded near the end of her driveway. She went outside and saw a woman passed out on the rocks and two women trying to revive her.
But then I just ran back in the house and told my son, get ice, get water, get towels, get wet towels. I thought someone was dying out there. I mean, because they couldn't get her to come to.
Sally didn't know it then, but the woman laying there was 36-year-old Ashlyn Maddox. Ashlyn lived in the adult foster care home next door to Sally. The Benson High School graduate posted frequently on social media about her life, mental health, and medical issues, including that she suffered from seizures.
Right on the rocks.
Sally called 911 that Monday afternoon.
There's a lot of phlegm coming out of her mouth.
Okay.
I'd like to get her out of the seat.
Oh, okay, ma'am. Are you with her right now?
Well, there's about 2-3 people with her right now.
One of the women trying to revive Ashlyn was her caretaker at the adult foster home. She also called 911.
Southeast Kelly Street, we have a lady unconscious. She's struggling to breathe. She has seizures.
Is she having a seizure now?
She's not having a seizure. It looks like heat stroke.
Okay.
Need help.
Ashlyn Maddox is one of the nearly 100 people who died from the historic Oregon heat wave. Her name was on a list of people who died, just released by the state medical examiner's office. Most of those people died alone, without AC. So how did a 36-year-old woman in adult foster care end up dead outside her neighbor's home? According to the 911 calls, Ashlyn's caregiver said Ashlyn had a doctor's appointment that day.
She was supposed to come home and she walked off instead, and I've been looking for her. She had a doctor's appointment, was supposed to come home after that, and I started calling her around because she didn't make it home.
Then there's Sally's eyewitness account. She saw Ride-to-Care drop Ashlyn off.
I saw them drop her off here.
Let's show you a bird's eye view of the neighborhood from our drone. The house on the right is the adult foster care home. The house on the left is Sally's home where Ashlyn was dropped off. Sally said she called Ride-to-Care and told them what happened.
And I just said, well, I am the house that they dropped this woman off in front of my house. And they said, no, we dropped her off in front of her house. And I said, no, you didn't. You dropped her off in my house. I thought I was having a guest. I didn't realize it was for next door.
She gets out there.
There's something else that shows what happened that day. The neighbor across the street, Felicia Anderson, has a Nest cam pointing directly at Sally's home.
And that's in front of your neighbor's house?
Yep, that's
Sally.
directly in front of Sally's house right there.
According to the Nest cam's clock, you see the yellow Ride-to-Care car pull up in front of Sally's home at 2:10 in the afternoon. 20 seconds later, Ashlyn is seen getting out of the car and walking away from Sally's home and away from her adult foster care home. 2 minutes later, the Ride-to-Care car drives away. The Nest camera is rolling, but we don't see Ashlyn walk back into frame for nearly 2 hours. It's unclear where she went. At one point, she walks behind the parked maroon SUV. She circles the vehicle and sits down. You never see Ashlyn walking again. At roughly 5 o'clock, you see a car spot her and pull up to help. Neighbors, including Sally, try to help, bringing out ice and an umbrella to shade Ashlyn. A fire truck and ambulance arrive around 5:30, more than 3 hours after she was dropped off.
It's sad that they couldn't have dropped her off where they should have dropped her off, that nobody was there to meet her when she should have been dropped off, even if it was the next house over. It's very unfortunate that that happened to her.
Ashlyn Maddox later died. Her cause of death listed as hyperthermia. Ashlyn's friend of 8 years, Heidi Hall, talked to me from Texas.
I miss her a lot.
She said Ashlyn was caring, kind-hearted, and great with kids.
Ashlyn was a good person. She's a beautiful human being. She was very organized. As far as her family, I'm pretty sure they're devastated. She was really close with her grandma. I mean, come on, she was in her 30s, so she still had a lot of life left in her, and she was taken too soon, and it's unfortunate.
As for Ride to Care, the service is run by HealthShare, an Oregon agency that is supposed to support people on Medicaid. HealthShare called the incident a tragedy. They said they did an investigation, and the driver followed all protocols. They said they dropped Ashlyn off where she requested, the curb in front of her neighbor's home. The driver saw her walking away. HealthShare said they do not change their drop-off policy based on severe weather unless the member is in obvious distress or concerned about the heat.
And I'm seeing her bend down, the caregivers.
Sally believes ride-to-care drivers should make sure their passengers get inside, especially when the heat is once again in the triple digits.
To drop somebody off in the wrong house and not see that they got in, and especially with 116 degrees, not to do that, take extra precautions that the person's going to be saved,